Hello, my name is Brian Coburn. My wife and I are an independent adjusting team out of Pennsylvania area, and I'm making this video just to help some of you who are like us trying to find ways to make your claim process go a little faster. There's a lot of different things out there and ways of expediting the claim process, like using Xactimate Mobile and things of that nature. There's one component of the claims process that I found to be a little bit clunky and take a little bit longer than I would like, and so I'm trying to streamline that. And there are some ways of doing that. That is the creating of your narrative report, creating your description of the loss and describing what happened, the repairs needed, and so on, and whatever else the carrier wants to have from you at the end of that claim. The way I see it, there are three major components to finishing that to, to finishing that claim. When you arrive at the inspection, in my mind, the clock starts ticking, and I want to get from the beginning of that inspection to the closing of that claim and the writing of my fee bill as quickly as I can so that I can move on to another claim and ultimately handle more claims in a day. That, of course, makes you look good to your firm, to your carrier, and gives you some extra fee bills as well. So the three components that I see that are necessary to complete a claim once I've arrived at an inspection is one, photos and labeling photos. So we've been doing that after the claim, but with Xactimate Mobile, I've been learning to try to do that as I'm working the claim by using the speech to text feature. Photos, the estimate, which is also something I've always done after the claim, but I'm learning to do that during the claim with Xactimate Mobile. And then the third thing, which has nothing to do with Xactimate Mobile, but it's your narrative report. At the end of the claim, carriers want some basic information from you, and it may just have to do with telling the story of the loss, whether it was a weather related or whether it was a water backup or whatever it was, what was damaged, and some other pertinent information. Of course, every carrier is a little bit different as far as what they want, but there's always going to be a narrative report. And so oftentimes your firm or your carrier may just give you a template to use, and those are helpful. It might just be a blank Word document that you fill in the blanks, and that's fine. But there are sometimes, and for a particular carrier that I've been using, there's quite a bit of information that they want, and that's fine. But how do we make that go a bit faster? Besides the fact that there are templates that you can create on your own or maybe provided for you, there are ways to take those templates and to populate information without having to do it manually. And of course, when you do that, it makes it go faster. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm showing you right now, what I'm showing you now is, of course, the projects tab in Xactimate, and it just has a couple of my practice projects here in my local window. I've opened this one here. This is just my own home that I'm working on remodeling. So I've already opened that into another window. There you'll see it. It has my name as the insured and the insured info. So I'm just showing you this because this is where in Xactimate we need to add some information. A lot of it is pre-populated for you when you receive your claim through XactAnalysis or however you get your claim information. But there's always inevitably some information we need to add, whether it's coverage issues or whether we're adding over in profit and those kind of things. So this is where, if we start here and fill in all this information, address, date contacted, date inspected, all those things. If we can add as much information as we can here, this can all be pre-populated on your narrative report without having to re-add that. So that's what I'm here to show you. And again, you may be somewhat familiar with it already. Your firm may have given you a template and showed you how to load it into Xactimate and all that, but I'm going to show you what they did in order to make that happen and how you can customize your own templates, which I've found to be very, very helpful. So we start with this. You got to get your information in here. And then what happens is then once I've populated a template, which I'll show you how to do that in a moment, this is what comes up. It already has some pertinent information in there, and of course some of it's blank just because I didn't fill it in the last screen I showed you yet. But with all those other things filled in, when I populate this template, the information comes in with it, and I can put that information anywhere on this Word document. So by the way, you have to have a Word program. I don't think it works with any other type of word processing program. But this template here, by the way, is one that my firm put together. I've erased the header just for privacy, but I've taken their template and I have modified that, and I'll show you where I have modified that. They've added things like checkboxes, which you can do very easily if you have this little developer tab. If you don't have the developer tab, you can go over here to File, click More, go to Options, and under Options you would go to Customize Ribbon. There you'll see on the right side a number of boxes here in your Word program. Mine was unchecked. I think that comes in by default. So just check the developer, hit OK, and you'll get this up here in your ribbon, the developer tab. And then with the developer tab, you can click on places where you want a checkbox and it'll appear. Okay, and then it can be checked with an X, so that's kind of cool. You can also add drop downs. Same thing. You can kind of put your cursor where you want to put a drop down. Let's just put one right here, for example. Click on a drop down list, and then it shows up here in that area where you had your cursor. You go up to Properties, title it, and then start adding in your values to your drop down. And whatever you choose, I'll just put in a title there, add, and we'll add one, choose one. Okay, add another one, choose two. Okay, and we'll hit OK. Now I've got my title, which was 2 lowercase a's, just for the example. Drop down menu, I can choose one of these and it appears. So there's some things you can do with Windows that's kind of fun. And my firm who created this template has added some of those things like the checkboxes, and see some drop down options here too. So if you're somewhat familiar with Word, you're already aware of how to create these tables and drop down tabs and so on. If not, hopefully that'll help you out, or you can Google it. But that stuff really isn't that difficult. But with a template, so I have some basic information here. These are all the things that the carrier wants us to provide for them. So some of it is just easy. You can just kind of make a choice, check a box, and other things are going to require you to enter some information. So the original template didn't have all these extra paragraphs here. I added all these in myself. This is my way of making things go even faster because I've got some pre-loaded narratives in here and some explanations. Now, it functions somewhat like a macro in that sense. And with macros, you have to be careful. Make sure you fill in the appropriate areas, delete the things that are irrelevant. For example, on the exterior elevations, you have a place here where I can fill in the X, damage, say hail damage was found to the gutters, fascia, but it wasn't on the soffit or the siding or a window, so I can just delete that. Or I could just delete all of this here, oops, delete all of this here, and leave the storm, no storm-related damage found. So for me, this is just kind of a way to include everything, take out what I don't want, leave what I do, and modify what's necessary. Now, again, that makes things go a bit faster, but you have to be careful to make sure you read through it once or twice when you're all done to make sure you didn't forget something. And that just looks really kind of awkward when it goes back to the firm and they're reading it, and heaven forbid they miss it and it goes on to the carrier. And that's not the end of the world, but that's just a danger of having macros. You have to be careful, of course. And this part down here for the cause of loss analysis, I just leave that blank. Once I click on it, I can start adding text because typically I'm going to want to just write that out in a very customized way according to the particular claim, the loss, and so on. And by the way, these can be, once these are populated on a desktop on your, if you have Word on your desktop, I save these on a Google Drive, and then I can access them through my iPad and then use the talk to text feature there to add in my narrative report. It ends up being popular. It ends up using the Google Drive or Google Docs document or word processing program in order to modify it or edit it on your iPad. But then once you put it back into Drive and say you load it back onto your desktop to go back into exact analysis, it's going to be back in Word. The difference is it does kind of add a color to the background. I don't know why it does that. That's just from problems of going between Google Drive and Word. I don't think it's a problem, but there's probably a fix for that. But anyways, so this gives you a template. So how do we get this? And that's what the point of this whole tutorial is. How do we get this template to be pre-populated with much of the pertinent information of the claim without having to add a whole lot of other stuff? Here's what we do. So we start with something that looks like this. So this is the same template, except it's a generic version. And you see all these weird little bracketed texts. These are all what's called tokens. And we get these directly from Xactimate. I'm going to show you that in a second. So all these tokens just get put anywhere in this template I'm creating or modifying where you want that particular bit of information from the claim. So you'll see if we want to add the date of loss, there's a date of loss token that'll fit in there. Okay. If we want the deductible, then there's a deductible token that we can just copy and paste into this section. And we can do that throughout the entire document. So you can see there's a bunch of tokens right here for the address, the street, the city, and all that. It'll be pre-populated for you. You don't have to add that into your template once you download it out of Xactimate, and I'll show you how to do that. So first of all, how do we create this? So if we go back to your Xactimate program and to the Projects tab or Projects window, you can see there's an option here for Tools. Click on Tools and go to you see where it starts at the top there with data transfers and other things. You can see just a couple boxes down is a thing called tokens. So there's a number of tokens. You can see, you can scroll up and down there in alphabetical order. You can even search for a token right here and take you right to it. But these are all the basic information from a particular claim that serve as placeholders. So let's say we want to add the contractor business phone into our template. If I click on that, see that showed me how it copied to my clipboard. I can go back to my Word document right here, and I can add that in. Let's go back to the other one, to the one with the other token. So let's say I wanted to add another text here that said, let's see if I can get one down here. Contractor number. And we'll go over here to the, I might have to use my space bar. And I want that to be right there. That's not going to work for me the way I want. Control V, paste. Yeah, I can add it down here. It's because this is already full. I'd have to create some more space if I want to do it in there. But so contractor number, and now I have this token right here. It's in bold because it took on the form of these other texts. But let's see if we put one. Yeah, it did the same thing. So it gives you a token so that when we populate our template out of Xactimate in that claim, it's going to come with the contractor's number, assuming that you have it in here. So if you don't have it here, and where is that? Contractor information. I thought it was in here. Right there. So if you don't have your contractor, if you don't have the contractor information filled out here with the phone number and so on, then it's not going to come in. It has to be pre-filled in here first. Assuming that it is, then when it gets populated, or when you download it from Xactimate, it's going to be populated in there. So here we have all these tokens. So when we go now to, let's go to, we're within a claim. See, I'm within my home one claim here. Now if we go to documents, reports, over to documents tab here in reports, you'll see I have template docs right here. So I have these template docs already loaded, and by the way, loading them is easy. You create, I showed you just a basic Word document, and so there are information in there, and these are all, you can create your own Word document, take somebody else's template, modify it, whatever you want, and then you just put it in a folder on your computer somewhere, okay? And so that when you go into documents and you hit import, then you choose that folder, hit OK, and it will populate into here. It'll load into here. That's the word I'm going to use. So I have a number of them in here, including a checklist, which I'm also going to show you as a great way to make sure I don't miss anything and make things go a little faster. So now that they're in here, if you double click them, so here's this is my modified version of a roof inspection. It's an inspection that includes a roof. So you can either click on it and hit export. I think that's the one. Or if you just double click it. Now it's going to tell me I already have one in use, but when it comes out, it'll look exactly like this. Because it populated all that information in there, you see. So that's just a way, and it's going to take you a little bit of time, not very long really, to set these up. But once they're set up, it just saves you a ton of time. And you can use this for a number of different documents. Like for example, I use one also for my checklist. So I have a checklist here. Same thing. I've added tokens to my document and then imported it here so that whatever claim I'm on, when I double click this, it's going to give me my Word document, and it looks like this, but it's now going to have some information filled into it. Now right here you can see this is actually my template where I've got those tokens, what I copied back here. All right, we were in just your projects tab, tools, tokens. I choose whichever token I want and then put it in wherever I want it to be. So the insured, I pick my token that says insured name, put it here. If I've got a contractor that I know that's already involved in the claim, it'll go here. Now, if I don't have one in there, it's going to be blank, and that's okay. I can fill it in later. But anything I can do to make things more automated, that's going to make things go a lot faster. So this is just my checklist for one particular carrier that I use or that I work for, because they ask for a lot of different information. So I just make sure that I don't miss anything. And I have this in a way that I can print it, take it out with me, and just check it off with my pen. Or if I want to just do it digitally on my iPad, I can also, because I added these check boxes, I can do it that way as well. So I just created this out of a simple Word document, uploaded it to it. All you have to do is get into any claim, and then import that document, and then it's there for you when you go to any claim after that. So you go back to your projects tab and you download another project from the cloud and go into documents, reports, docs, template docs. It's going to look exactly like this. All of them are going to still be there. The difference is when you click on them, your tokens will then correspond to all your claim info in that particular claim. So you see how that goes. That can make things go a lot faster. And of course, as I said, every carrier is a little different. The information that they want is a little different, maybe more or less. Maybe some information might be different than the other. So create your own templates per carrier and put those tokens in there. One of those tokens from the Tools tab. Insert those, copy and paste those tokens in there. And then when you go to your claim, documents, reports, documents, templates, just double click it, comes out as a Word document. Then you can edit it further from there. This is the one, yeah. Edit it further from there. And then when you're done, you just put it in a folder on your computer, of course, and then however it is you transfer it to Xactanalysis or whoever the carrier, your firm wants it. Mine goes into Xactanalysis. So once it's on my computer, I can just take it from there and upload it to Xactanalysis. So anyways, hopefully that's helpful to you. Let me know what you think in the comments, and be safe out there.